Thank you for joining me for another Quick Hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. I'm a concierge high-performance psychologist providing luxury-level support to executives, entrepreneurs, celebrities, and athletes. With me today, I have Stewart Wiggins. He's with Indecent Advisors, where he offers fractional chief operating officer services and brings resources together to help scale your business. I have Dr. Cole Galloway. He's a recovering academic working in social justice and disability, primarily with babies, as the founder of Go Baby Go. And I have Kevin Wash. He's a coach, mentor, author, trainer, and speaker, running a consultancy business specializing in sales for international property development based in Spain. The question today: how do you empathize with someone when you don't have anything in common?
Not to say it's not challenging, but I found the question kind of unlocked into an easy one, which is if I'm sitting across from another human, I have much more in common with you than I have different. Now, I know people may go to a work situation where my boss is sitting in front of me and Cole, I just don't understand why you're not performing, or something's up, or we're just miscommunicating. That's that micro where those differences can really be amplified. If I go back just a little bit, we both come from families of some type. We have the same type of emotion. As a brain scientist, I went right to, we have the same brain. Nationality, culture can all get in the way, understanding, communication, my willingness to spend time with you, your willingness to spend time with me. All those things can get in the way, but I think for me, starting with we have the same brain, we have the same body, it sort of melted away. It's up to me to realize all the commonalities.
I would go along with Cole there because I kind of struggled a bit with this question, but then I came up with a similar take on it, that basically there's very few people in the world that we have nothing in common with because we're all humans. So we have something in common. I think what can sometimes separate us is if we're decent humans or we're indecent humans. And there are several types of indecent humans who I have nothing in common with, and I would have literally no interest in showing empathy with them. So if I just explain what I mean there, for example, there are cultural differences. I'm in Egypt, and we're about to enter the holy month of Ramadan. I'm not a Muslim. I have nothing in common with these guys here, but I can empathize with what they're going to go through for the next month, and I can empathize why they do it. So I can understand they get tired, they get hungry. It can change our working dynamics for literally 30 days, but they're good people. So I will empathize with them. The type of people that I won't empathize with, if, for example, I ever come across anyone who's a racist or a fascist, they may be human beings, but I am not empathizing with those people in any way, shape, or form, because there's an element of dislike that comes in that would stop my decent human being saying to me, empathize with these people. I would be saying, I don't have anything to do with these people. So I would kind of stay away. But I do think, like Cole, as human beings, we've got so much more in common with everybody than we actually think.
I agree with both of you. In fact, I would put it like this. The one thing we all have in common is our differences. And so because of that, we have to be willing to seek to understand. That sounds cliche, but in fact, that's what it is. But I would struggle being across from a narcissist, or I struggle with someone who makes it difficult to work together, because I assume that we're working together, because I'm not going to form a friendship with someone who falls into that category. But if you have to work with someone like that, then I don't know whether you can have sort of empathy for them, but you got to figure out a way to make it work. And that's the most difficult part, is figuring out a way to work with someone who just really lacks the ability for you to connect with on that level.
So you all brought up something that I hadn't considered. When I asked this question, I kind of was in the space of, I want to empathize with everyone. And the thing that for me is, I don't have to understand your situation to believe you about it. That's kind of what came up for me about empathizing. But then Cole and Kevin, and then you, Stewart, a little bit, tell me things about, there are people I don't want to empathize with. And I agree with you. If you're fascist or you're racist or you're extremist, no. And now I'm completely like, oh, wait a minute, that's interesting.
You know, when I first saw this question, I actually got led off at a tangent, because I read it and I thought, okay, how can I empathize with someone that I don't like? And then my train of thought had gone from having nothing in common would tell me, I don't like that individual. So how am I going to empathize with somebody I don't like? And I found myself trying to think about people that I don't like and what situation would we have to be in when I would empathize with them. And then I realized that wasn't actually the question. The question was just nothing in common. That doesn't mean because I've got nothing in common, I need to dislike that person. It just means I've got nothing in common with that person.
I work with a community that I don't participate in the disability community quite yet. And that distance between wanting to care and actually being able to collaborate with a community really has taught me that, especially someone like me as a white cisgendered male hetero privilege, be careful when you make judgments about what you think other people are. And so when Stewart and others have talked about fascist and racist, boy, when you look at like American white folks, able-bodied white folk, male, be careful when you judge, when you're so snap judge of, I can't work with that person. Because we've had policies built on, I can't work with that person, therefore I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And from the disability community's perspective, and I've been challenged because I work also in American healthcare. So you run across a lot of people that are very, very kind and are the same authors of policies that are literally killing individuals. So this really brought up a lot in terms of empathizing. And I need to work with you no matter who you are, because if I didn't work with people that I didn't like, I can't work in American healthcare. If I didn't work with people that, if I said, I'm not going to work with racists, okay, well, there's half of some of the people that I have to work with. And that's just a part of being American and white. So this was a challenging question. And I think I started it with like, let's all live together. I'm just saying it can be tough to empathize and really care for someone in the workplace. I've got to expand that and actually take this question to heart.
I do feel like you can work with people and you can be cordial and you can get things done without having to empathize with their opinion or their position.
That's been a good part of my life. I mean, I know I've worked with people that did not like me, and I know that opportunities did not come my way. And it was easy to say things like you're too aggressive or you're not analytical enough, all those little catchphrases. You either go or you stay and you figure out how to deal with it. But that doesn't mean I empathize with them. In fact, I can't find any empathy there. But because in a work environment, you have to figure out how to survive. We've all said this, socially, you don't have to do that at all. But I think it's important to try to put yourself in a position to understand different people. I was really impressed with what Cole said. There are just so many different people out there. And again, it's cliche, but you never know what the other guy's bringing to the table. And if you ask the question, are you racist? Would they identify themselves as such?
Probably not.
But it's back to that. Sometimes it's hard to believe what you say because I watch what you do. That's a pretty famous American quote. Robyn, you hit it on another question. Last couple of times I've hit on questions. If people want to go and look at the previous questions last couple of months, you've hit on some just really cornerstone watershed things. And this is one of those. Even empathizing in the workplace. Is that even allowed? Is that even legal? Is that even a good thing or a bad thing? I think people struggle with that.
I think you also have to look at, there's two different types of empathy. There's genuine and there's fake. And for me, there's absolutely nothing worse than fake empathy.
And we can tell. We're all
absolutely.
human. The people in the room can tell that you're full of it.
Yeah, I'd rather people were just honest and ignored me and left me in the corner dealing with whatever my issues are than come over and give me the then never mind, we'll get through this together rubbish, because we're not getting through it. We're not going through anything together. But what does empathy actually mean? When you empathize, what does it mean? What does it mean to you when you believe you're empathizing with somebody? And what do you expect from people if you want them to empathize with you? And again, for me, empathy and working with people, I see as very different things. I have people in my organizations that I have absolutely nothing in common with, but I can empathize with them as human beings.
this conversation went really differently than I anticipated it going. And I am so thankful to the three of you for having it with me. So thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking to each of you again very soon.